Have you ever thought about what's the worst way to die? Or have you ever dreamed about you dying? Knock on wood, but I'm sure you've thought about the countless ways in which you could die. All of us do, even if, in fact, nobody knows when it will be their time. From crossing the roads while holding our phones to simply driving on the road, there have been a lot of occurrences where death is only a millimeter away from us. And if you're fond of watching movies, especially gory ones, you sure have seen ways of dying that made you shiver and have nightmares. Is it being hit by the bus? Getting shot near the heart? Or worse, a headshot? Is it by falling off a bridge, then getting drowned? Or because the river had dried? Is it hitting your head on a giant rock and bleeding to death? Or is it not waking up from your sleep anymore? You can even die of hunger after being lost in the woods or being eaten alive by a bear. Who knows? Death may also happen when you're in the middle of enjoying a roller coaster ride when suddenly you hear the screws slowly loosening and people start screaming. Or when you're eating fine dining, then the bean on the appetizer makes you start choking. You may be lucky if someone in the restaurant knows the Heimlich maneuver, but poor you if there's none. It can also happen when you try free diving or skydiving for the first, and maybe the last time. Like really, can it get any worse? To be frank, nothing about death makes it better or enjoyable to talk about. Nobody ever really wants to die. But there are some cases where it may be induced by something that is never on our list, by something that is far from what we see on the screens. You may have heard someone saying, "I nearly died laughing." Then you just laughed it off and thought, that's impossible. For the longest time, they say laughing is good for the heart, that laughter is the best medicine. Endorphins, known as the feel-good hormones that are released when a person laughs, improve the mood and enhance our overall well-being. But this very act can lead to death. Can you imagine it? Laughing can end our lives? Though the act of laughing itself does not kill a person, it does trigger a disease to surface because of an underlying condition or an undetected deficiency of the body. It is said to create a domino effect that deteriorates our heart and worse, ends our lives. In today's episode of Science Curiosities, we'll let you know how one can die just laughing and what it says about a person's overall health. Watch the possibility unfold in front of your eyes while watching this video. Don't forget to subscribe to Science Times. There are a number of ways in which laughter can hurt a person's body. But do not be afraid of laughing just yet. According to experts, laughter that leads to death is mostly and probably caused by underlying medical conditions. A cardiologist from UCLA Health further stated that the very act of laughing would be an unlikely cause of death for healthy people. A big chuckle can lead to a syncope or loss of consciousness for just a short period. You might ask, how does that lead to death then? Imagine you are driving on your motorcycle while talking to someone on the phone. That person tells a joke and you laugh. What happens then? A fatal accident. You might hit your head on the hard road and acquire head trauma. A laughter-induced syncope happens when the blood pressure of a person drops suddenly due to exaggerated laughter. Because of the sudden big laughter, the chest moves up and down rapidly, applying a lot of pressure on the space inside a person's chest. This affects how the nerves that send signals to the brain and internal organs, like the heart, facilitate the flow of blood. The sudden drop in blood pressure leads to a lack of blood supply to the brain, resulting in lightheadedness, as laughter can also cause a lack of air supply to the heart, lungs, and brain because of an increased breathing rate. It can lead to a severe asthma attack. Difficultness in breathing caused by laughing-induced asthma might lead to respiratory failure, or worse, a cardiac arrest. People with congestive heart failure and coronary artery disease are also more prone to heart attack that is caused by sudden increases in heart rate brought about by extreme laughter. When a person does not receive enough oxygen due to the continuous laugh, he finds himself almost running out of air. A spasm in the vocal cords can happen, which is also a symptom of asthma. Alongside an asthma attack, respiratory failure, and cardiac arrest, laughing so hard can also trigger asphyxiation that results in suffocation because of deprivation of oxygen. In asphyxiation, a person is having a nitrous oxide or the laughing gas overdose, which has already caused a lot of people to die. On the other hand, according to experts, a lot of people have undiagnosed brain aneurysms, and laughing can cause a ruptured aneurysm due to increased pressure inside the skull. As an aneurysm is basically an overfilled water balloon positioned near the parts of a person's nervous system, extreme amounts of laughter can cause it to pop. So having it detected is a must, as it can lead to brain damage, coma, and death, when there is not enough oxygen supplying the brain anymore because the rupture interferes with the nervous system that signals the flow of blood inside our body. Another thing that makes laughing dangerous for some people is undetected brain tumors in the hypothalamus, a part of our brain that controls emotions. If the brain has hypothalamic tumors, there will be an unbalanced hormone production that results in uncontrolled emotions. This can trigger elastic seizures that are associated with uncontrollable laughing, either when a person's awake or asleep. Because of that, this can further lead to the dangers that come from laughing.
What, you think that's funny?
Familiar with the Joker? It was said that his character has this form of epilepsy, which is why he is portrayed as a character who laughs uncontrollably, even in sad situations. Meanwhile, narcolepsy is another brain disorder that could make laughing deadly. It is associated with extreme sleepiness and disrupted sleep cycles. People with this kind of disorder suffer from numerous loss of consciousnesses throughout the day. Narcoleptic people can also develop cataplexy, sudden loss of muscle tone in response to strong emotions like joy that are associated with laughter. This makes them slowly drop to the ground because of their sort of jelly-like bodies, and they lose consciousness eventually. This can put their lives in danger, especially when they are walking alone in the middle of a busy street. But how much laughter do you think is safe for people with underlying conditions? Will the number be far different from the percentage of laughter healthy people can tolerate? If you want to know more, read the article linked below. And if you liked this video, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to Science Times for more discoveries like this. Thank you for watching, and see you on our next one.